So in the last two lessons, we've talked about nouns. But when we're writing a sentence or when we're talking to someone, we're not going to repeat those nouns over and over again. We end up with some very awkward sentences. Instead, we're going to replace some of those nouns with pronouns. So pronoun takes the place of a noun. So in our example sentence here, Bob is our noun, proper noun, right? Because it names a specific person. Then we have this his, right? And this his shows possession. But it's also taking the place of our noun, Bob, right? Because we could have had, grammatically, I suppose, Bob sat on Bob's chair. That's what the pronoun is replacing. But in reality, we would never say that or write a sentence like that. Instead, we're going to use that possessive pronoun, Bob sat on his chair. So we have a number of pronoun types, not unlike with nouns, right? Nouns, we were able to put in a number of categories, and we can do the same thing with pronouns. And let's start by thinking about personal pronouns. There are three kinds of personal pronouns: first person, second person, third person. Now, when we're reading fiction, for example, and sometimes poetry, we can talk about our narrator as being a first-person narrator or a third-person narrator. Okay? So first person, I, me, my, mine, we, us, our, and ours. Second person pronouns, you, your, and yours. And if we're thinking about the plural forms of the second person pronouns, they are the same forms, you, your, and yours. Our third person pronouns, he, him, his, she, her, hers, it, and its. And then the plural forms, they, them, their, and theirs. Let's take a look at our example sentence. And in that sentence, we're going to identify our pronouns. First pronoun is he. That, although it's not listed, you'll see later on, is a pronoun. They is a pronoun. This is, of course, singular, third person. This is plural, third person. Meet us, first person. And that too is plural. Next, let's talk about our reflexive pronouns. Again, we have first, second, and third person pronouns. And these pronouns are very easy to identify because they either are going to end in self or they're going to end in selves. And notice that pattern holds true all the way through. Reflexive pronouns. Let's take a look at our example sentence. I'm not quite myself today. Okay? And you should, that reflexive pronoun should just jump out at you because you see that self, right? That is our reflexive pronoun, myself.